for a bright future for the generations to come. So those were the ideas that have been shared. Thank you so much. And now, moving towards the last panel discussion, I can say, I would like to invite on stage the moderator for this session would be Mr. Satyajit Rao Vagvala, Director, Government and Public Sector Advisory, Nangia, Andersen, LLP. And the speakers for this panel discussion would be Commodore B.K. Munjal, VSM, Advisor Defense, Government E-Marketplace, Government of India, Mr. Ravinder Kumar, IAS, Secretary to Honorable LG, and Secretary, PDD, Animal and Sheep, Agriculture and Horticulture, Cooperatives, Youth and Sports, Hospitality and Protocol, Estates, Aviation, UT of Ladakh, सारा भार इन्होंने अपने कंधे पे संभाल रखा हुआ है. Mr. K. Bhasker, IAS, Commissioner Infrastructure, Department of School Education, Government of Andhra Pradesh, Mr. Narsing, Pawar, IAS, Managing Director, AMTRON and Secretary, Department of Finance, Government of Assam, Dr. Virender Sharma, HPAS, Registrar, Himachal Pradesh University, Government of Himachal Pradesh, Mr. 𝐃𝐢𝐠𝐢𝐭𝐚𝐥, IRSE, Managing Director, Metro Rail, Urban Infra and Building Construction Corporation Limited, Government of Uttarakhand, and Mr. Abhijit Sinha, National Program Director, NHEV. Welcome to all the speakers and the moderator out here. Yes, this session is going to be very interesting because the topic of this panel discussion would be navigating the digital horizon, transforming industries to a connected future. And with the world, the center of attention again would be Ladakh. We hope so. And I hand over the stage to the moderator, Mr. Satyajit Rao Vagvala ji.
Thank you. This is a panel that actually has been pushed too far into the day, and I think it's good to see most of you here still interested to listen to what we have to say. So let me just put down the ground rules again, just as it has happened in the previous panels. So we have 45 minutes. I suppose each speaker is going to get about 5 minutes to talk about the initiatives and how these initiatives can be connected to the industry. Right? So, yeah, we will listen to it. Okay. So, so we will have one question. Originally, thank you so much for all of you. I had a chance to speak to all of you and then discuss some of the initiatives that you've been, doing or have been progressing for that matter. So, one question I think should be sufficient, and you could speak about the key initiative that you've actually implemented, what you've been doing. If there is a chance, I will ask for a supplementary question. Okay, so let's start the day with the panel discussion with Mr. Abhijit. Mr. Abhijit is a technocrat, and he's actually working very closely with the PMO as well as on some of the key projects. He comes from a background of technology, and currently he's also the mission director for the National Highway for EV. So there are two components that I specifically wanted to ask Mr. Abhijit, because the National Highways for EV is actually a subset of Ease of Doing Business project. So could you please highlight a little bit about what exactly is happening under Ease of Doing Business and how some of these experiments and pilots that you're doing with emerging technologies are actually changing the way we understand industry today? You could pick one of the industries. We've experimented in a lot of industries. So let's stick to the National Highways for EV.
Thank you, and very gratitude to the organizers and the government of Leh for organizing this wonderful event. I believe that since morning we have spoken about emerging technology, and at the end of the last session, if I manage to bring some of the implementation and some of the POC and pilots, which always seems to be impossible, but eventually we manage to deliver on the ground, it would add some value to the conversation which we have done through the morning, and would also give some mind-blowing, eye-opening, path-finding way ahead to what we have spoken. Ease of doing business for emerging technology is basically those technologies from morning what we have spoken, who by nature do not have the rule books, standards, specifications, classifications, their certifications, and at the other side, they also do not have their financing mechanism. So when we speak that we want to have this particular technology, we have to have finances, we have to have bankers, funding and financing agencies at our side to implement it. And the third, sometimes as a user, consumer, P2G or P2C, we also do not know that before this technology also there was a life, there was a pattern. How and what type of difference this particular technology will bring. That's the third part of the piloting which we do in ease of doing business. So as an emerging technology for premier emerging deep tech technologies, we conduct and try to bring out these three things. The rule book, so that we can play around it, we can actually implement it and find it possible to do. Finance, so that we can leverage, we can expand and we can put some expenditure in it. And third, we can create use cases of how it will change your day-to-day life. One of the projects which has been longer than it was expected because of COVID is National Highway for Electric Vehicle. The problem area is very important to share. Then only you will be able to understand the intricacies and complications that we must have gone through in the last 3 years. Is our leadership in the top chief architecture of our Honorable Prime Minister. We wanted to work on the decarbonization, and transport is the lowest hanging fruit. The highest benchmark standard of transportation and decarbonize is Sweden, Finland and Germany, with electric corridors, very less used batteries, overhead wires, cables, and extended arms trucks, who almost reduce the cost of transportation per ton to 20% of what they used to pay in diesel. This was a dream. This was not my or Honorable Minister's dream. It was the requirement of the nation that we make something out of it. But what was stopping us? The cost of the German highway was 22 crore rupees per kilometer. It was requiring a continuous line equivalent to putting a rail network, and also a production of a special kind of vehicle which has overhead extended arms. In last few years, we conducted 2 trials in Delhi's airport and Delhi Agra, and we managed to bring down the cost from 22 crore rupees to 1 crore rupees per kilometer. And for this, we did not need a different kind of vehicle. Your electric car, my electric car, any electric bus can run on this, and the running cost was not supposed to be taken from the government expenditure. We created a PPP model. It's called MUT Hybrid E-Mobility. It's a derivative of HAM project. Any of you who are from infrastructure would know HAM. And since it's a PPP model, it creates and it gives solution to all 6 mega issues which that particular industry was facing. Any of you who have thought about buying an electric vehicle must have gone through, if I go with my EV car out of city, what would happen to my car if I shut up? Second, the cost is very high. Third, how would you ensure the charging infrastructure expenditure as in sector is coming back to your pocket? If it is not profitable, no matter how much we talk about climate change, nobody is going to invest into it. And the last but not least is how are we going to rise the utilization if we do not have vehicle? So we solved these 4 by 2 trials, and especially the results came out very well on Delhi's airport and Delhi Agra. Currently it is expanded to 5,500 km, entire Bharatmala and Saramala. I am glad to share that officially we have also started the assessment for the Parvatmala. And this place where we are staying, where we are talking, is coming on the start point of the Parvatmala, and in next 10 years we are likely to conduct the assessment reaching here to Leh. The solutions which came from trial in 2 seconds.
Yeah, no, I have a supplementary question. So, fantastic, we totally understand. It's so good that the kind of cost implications that have been brought on, but you understand we are in Ladakh, right? So, I think, some of the experiments and pilots that you're doing, do you have any technologies that you think with the industry or with whatever that you're working with now, can something be brought here? The challenges that Ladakh is posing. you have something prepared.
Few things. In Ladakh, since we've been discussing since morning, and 4 or 5 use cases which are very prominent.
2 minutes. 2 minutes. You can take this.
And few of them are already in the process. I'm very glad to hear progresses from Sharma sir. Healthcare delivery is one of the key areas where in Ladakh, when we are talking about telemedicine or something, it is very possible to have an integral approach of health-related records, to have the benchmark which can be set for the entire nation, maybe for the world also. Second, the drone logistic. Because it's a border area, a lot of deployment to counter from the enemy, from the neighbor, is already going to be deployed. And if the facilitation reaches, the same facilitation of infrastructure is also used for the logistic and internal commercial drone delivery. So that opens a lot of opportunity here. Third is 3D printing. I don't know how many of you know about it or not. The material which is used by the 3D printer is a different material. Looks like cement, but it is not cement. The material has a certain composition, and that material is in Ladakh naturally available. With little bit of processing and refining, it can be used as a cement for 3D printer. So Ladakh can be a hub for 3D printing material for the nation. Fourth, green hydrogen and electric mobility. Green hydrogen, the reason which I have heard in the morning, I have been working on the decarbonization for more than 3 years now. I have not heard that if it would be possible, it would be a benchmark not for the India, over the world. If we manage to generate hydrogen here and the oxygen which comes out, it can be, if the packaging is possible. Third is solar power and hydropower. I think energy dependency is something which is a cutting cross competition across the globe, and within India also is now a competition among the states. Ladakh already scores a very good position. It may do wonders if it becomes a 100% energy independent state.
Thank you. I think I have to stop you there.
And the last is e-governance. Why I'm saying e-governance is because this state has been now recognized very recently. If there is a possibility to create a benchmark of e-governance, creating all identification together, it would be a legend for other states to follow.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So let me quickly move on to Mr. Narsing Pawar. Sir, AMTRON has been spearheading most of the governance initiatives for Assam, and a lot of industry connection, a lot of discussions, and new technologies being introduced. Let me put a simple question. What is AMTRON now going? In the last 3-4 years, and probably what are you planning for the next 3-4 years?
Thank you, Satyajit. I would like to thank our neighbors for having me, and we had a very good discussion throughout the day. I have been posted as Secretary Finance in the Assam and having additional charge as MD AMTRON Assam Electronic Corporation. It was set up in 1984, and now AMTRON is spearheading the IT initiatives in Assam. So you all know Assam for Assam people, but gradually Assam moving towards Assam, from Assam P to IT. So that initiatives AMTRON is spearheading for the Assam under able leadership of our Honorable CM, Dr. Sharma. And AMTRON was established in 1984 basically for internet service providing in Assam. And AMTRON, the name AMTRON derived from the AMTRON television. In 80s, there was a famous television brand, AMTRON. And AMTRON now working with a lot of firms in abroad to give solutions for the new challenges, for the new emerging technologies. We are working in 3D printing also. So we are providing 3D printing solutions for Coop, for the artificial. And we have set up 5G experience center with 5G labs in all northeastern states, including Sikkim, with the help of donor ministry. AMTRON Actually, we have 200 acres project, IT Tech City project for new and emerging technologies. That is basically plug and play system where a lot of firms, they have even Toyota, they are setting up data center in Tech City. So AMTRON is working with drones also. AMTRON is the only RPPO who has 4 licenses, micro, small, medium, and licenses for the master trainers. And what about the challenges? These are the initiatives. AR, VR, we are working with Samsung. For AI-based facial recognition, we are working with 𝐃𝐢𝐠𝐢𝐭, which is Israel-based company. And for 2-3 new initiatives like cyber securities, recently we have signed one agreement with MasterCard. So, and we are also looking forward to take Assam on pan-India basis in other states. We are getting a lot of projects in other states also. And what about the challenges? Our topic is industries, navigation through the horizons and the challenges, new technology in the connected future. So as we talk about future, we are interconnected. The new technology, as we navigate through with new technologies, there are incentives for the bad elements also, like cyber crimes. So, or the whatever sexual or the crime-related children. So we should work together to have one resilient cyber security net. Even Honorable PM recently showed his concern regarding big tech videos, unethical use of AI. So whatever discussion we had today, I believe we can have one earth, one family, one future, and one security for all. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I think there's a lot of work that is pending for AMTRON, I suppose, for AMTRON. Going ahead, there's also a lot of dependency when it comes to other northeastern states. They look up to Assam, and then some of the initiatives that northeastern states are taking are also looking at some partnerships with AMTRON. This is what I've come to know. So thank you so much for the input. And then let me quickly move to Mr. Bhasker. So, Mr. Bhasker, you've been implementing some of the initiatives. I've known you for some time, so your current position seems to be a little into looking and focusing only on infrastructure for school education. So, how is this portfolio working for you? Like, what are the key initiatives that you, as the leader of this particular department, are planning for school education infrastructure? And how is it connected digitally?
Thank you, Satya, and thanks all the co-panelists and the UT administration for having us here. It's been quite an interesting day for us learning a lot of things. Basically, I look after infrastructure for the entire education sector, starting from we have 55,000 Anganwadis, around 45,000 schools, and around 500 colleges in the government sector. My mandate is to ensure that the world-class infrastructure is created for all of these. So IT also becomes a part of it, but the brick-and-mortar infrastructure takes a large part of it because today the information technology, digital, is all buzzwords. But I firmly believe that without having the basic infrastructure in place, you can't have a digital infrastructure. Imagine a situation, I've been to places, schools where we have put a smart TV in the classroom, children are sitting on the floor, and there is no toilet for girl children, and girl children are not coming to the school. So that is the kind of paradox we have because implementing an IT project today is not that difficult compared to a few decades ago. But the kind of money that we require to put in the physical infrastructure is phenomenal. In fact, my project, we are spending around 16,000 crores to actually transform the entire infrastructure, wherein we bring in the new infrastructure like very vibrant, colorful furniture for the kids, nice toilets. All our schools we have put up, and we are putting up the water plants with reverse osmosis so that no child has to bring water from their home or and the toilets are all the world-class infrastructure we are putting in. With maintenance contracts also put in so that each of the things that we put in as a 10-year, 15-year contracts. So IT is also part of it in the sense that after we do all the physical infrastructure, new classrooms, furniture, painting, electricity, fans, lights, kitchen rooms, dining rooms, you have greenery, you have grounds and all. After we do everything, the last thing that we do is that in each classroom in our state, we are putting up a 65-inch integrated flat panel with the entire content from the class 3 to class 10 already pre-loaded into the system, and then we are connecting it to the internet so that it can be updated. We've already completed 1/3 of the schools. 1/3 of the schools will be completed by this March, and the rest 1/3 by the next year. In fact, I was surprised last year when I found that some government schools put a board of no vacancy. I've never seen in my career government school putting up a no vacancy that we cannot admit students because all the seats are filled. From private schools, children have started coming to government school because of the infrastructure, the kind of vibrancy that the government schools have brought in. And one good thing is that we have done everything without any contractor. This is purely community-led project where the parents and the villages come together and do the projects. But we, from the central office, what we do is that we define the standards and we also supply the standard material. All 45,000 schools use Berger paint or Asian paints, nothing else. All schools use Crompton Lewis fans because these are purchased by me at a very steep discount because I purchase in millions and I get a discount on a market price of around 45 to 50% discount I get. So the volumes work for us and we are able to do this at a very cheaper cost and put it at schools. So my takeaway from the whole thing is that so we need to also concentrate on the brick and mortar infrastructure, and then we can put in a IT part to it so that the brick and mortar part is the cake and the IT part is the icing. In some projects what we do is that because the digital part is easy, we go all the way for the icing, missing the basic brick and mortar. Thereby we will not be able to get a long-term results out of the projects they are doing, and we end up wasting a lot of public money. This is my take from the projects that I have been handling from the last 2 years. Thank you, sir.
Fantastic work. It's very inspiring also that community, part of this entire thing, and the department is driving this entire initiative. So let me quickly now move to Mr. Munjal. So Mr. Munjal is actually the advisor on defense procurement at Government E-Market, Government of India. So sir, my question is how defense procurement or procurement is encouraging MSMEs or industries today to actually be part of procurement for defense.
Thank you so much. I just touched upon the topic of the defense procurement or the procurement as such. You are all aware that government spends around 34 lakh crore per year on public procurement, which includes Government of India, state governments and other organizations. And till 2016, this 34 lakh amount was spent for manual processes of publishing the tenders in the newspapers, collecting the tender in the letter boxes outside our establishments, opening the envelope 1, envelope 2, right? So localized vendor base was there, varying prices were there for the same product by various buyers, various sellers. Time-consuming manual processes were there. There was always potential collusion between the buyer and sellers. So in August 2016, government decided to take the advantage of digital transformation which was taking part in the country, and a group of ministers were formed, and finally an e-platform called Government E-Marketplace was formed, which is like Amazon, Flipkart, right, wherein all the stakeholders of public procurement, that is buyers, sellers, and when we say sellers, all the OEMs, manufacturers, their authorized dealers, traders in the market, everybody was brought on board. digitized process. And that time government did a study that out of the 34 lakh crores, at least 8 to 10 lakh crore could be procured through e-procurement. Right? And then, so August 2016, we took off GEM, and everybody was brought on board. And the procurement started where we moved on from the paper, pen, pencil to paperless, cashless, and contactless procurement, where the names of the buyers and sellers were not shown to each other. There were no paper tender being published. Everything was online, the way we see on Amazon, Flipkart. Only the difference was that all the government rules, GFR, or purchase preference policy for MSMEs, Make in India, they were all enforced through various processes, software processes on GEM. And slowly we took off. And now in last 7 years, since we have been there, GEM has done a procurement of 6 lakh crores through GEM. And out of which every saving has been 10%, so that is, we have saved around 16,000 crores through GEM. And in this 6 lakh crores, the 55% contribution has been by MSMEs. So although in a government policy mandates that at least 25% procurement should be through MSMEs, but the initiative which has been taken by GEM, now through that, all the MSMEs across India can participate in government tenders in any part of the country, and they've been able to garner 55% of this journey. In the current financial year itself, we have been able to get a GMV, gross merchandise value of 2 lakh crores. And the most benefit has been that now sellers can sell across the country. If we take example of Ladakh itself, I got the data that Ladakh sellers have sold items, goods and services worth 730 crores to GEM. And you will be surprised to know that out of this 730 crores, it's only 130 crores they have sold to their own buyers in Ladakh. 600 crores they have sold outside Jammu, outside Leh Ladakh. Right? So that is the benefit which the MSMEs in Ladakh have got, that they have been able to sell now 700 crores, which was not possible earlier. If we take example of the neighboring state, Jammu Kashmir, there the Jammu Kashmir sellers, especially the MSMEs, they wrote to their chief secretary that through GEM, maybe we may not get good business. But we took out the data, they have sold items worth 6,000 crores to GEM, out of which 4,000 crores is to the local buyers of Jammu Kashmir, and 2,000 crores they have sold to outside GEM, outside GEM. So that is the access to market which GEM has given to all the sellers across the country. The other benefit which we have arranged for the MSMEs is that the MSME says कि सर मेरे पास पैसा नहीं है, ऑर्डर तो मिल गया, ग्रोथ कैसे करूँगा? So now we are tied up with all the NBFCs, public sector banks, private sector banks, and we have made an app called GEM Sahai, through which moment any MSME gets an order through GEM, again that mortgage, these NBFCs will give a loan immediately, and the moment the seller gets the payment from the payment authority, this loan can be returned, and that is the way the MSMEs can grow. So now we are arranging the access to market for all the MSMEs, we are arranging the access to the finance also through that. So, and our motto has been that 10 lakh loan in 10 minutes at rate of 10%. So that is what we have done, so that our industry grows. Ease of doing business is there. As of now, 7.8 lakh MSME are registered on the GEM, out of which 1.3 lakh are Romania. I see a lot of women sitting here, so I hope they are taking benefit of GEM here. And they got direct access to all the tender which are published immediately. Vendor base is increasing. We have around 60 lakh vendors on GEM now, and they are selling around 38 lakh products. The issue comes up at times, sir, how is the quality of GEM, the quality of products. We have executed 1.8 crore orders to GEM, right? And those of you who are dealing with GEM or even not dealing, generally we are aware that the moment a buyer receives an item, he gets some 10 days to open the parcel and check out if the item is as per the specifications or not. And if the item is not as per specifications, he has got a right to reject the item on GEM portal. And then the buyer can either resupply or he can say that I cannot supply. So we took out the data. Out of that 1.4 orders, only 0.5 orders have been rejected by the buyers. So which shows 99.5% customer satisfaction level, which I think is very good. Even off gem or in a personal buying also, 0.5 can be the non-sector special level. So that is the way we are ensuring that the public procurement experience by the government is, by the government buys much better. We got a study done by World Bank and by AMTRON now, last year by Washington Consultancy Group. So they brought out that average saving if you do reverse auction is around 25%. Few of you can understand the reverse auction. Moment you open the bid, the element cost comes down, and then after that the reverse auction takes place and the contract gets submitted back to cost. So the difference between the opening of tender element cost and the contract cost is the saving. So that is 25% saving which is there. So that is the amount which you have saved for the government. And of course, because that the government can spend over that amount on some other equipment also. So that is the way we have transformed the public procurement by taking the advantage of digital transformation.
Thank you, Mr. Munjal. I think we also had very nice. I think some stats are really good. The discussion that we also had in the afternoon had to do with the quality of products that were available in Gem. Thank you so much. I think you also addressed that. Now let me move towards Mr. 𝐃𝐢𝐠𝐢𝐭𝐚𝐥. Mr. 𝐃𝐢𝐠𝐢𝐭𝐚𝐥 is currently the MD of Uttarakhand Metro. My question is to you, Mr. 𝐃𝐢𝐠𝐢𝐭𝐚𥥥, given your vast experience, I think you've almost spent 20 years in urban mobility and urban transportation. How does working in Delhi Metro for 18 years and some of those concepts, for a metro, I'm sure you know it's for major cities, but when you go to Uttarakhand, how does this entire technology get transferred? How do you plan something like a metro for smaller cities? Or are there different technologies that are used when it comes to urban mobility?
It is true that, first of all, I should thank the organizers and Bhasker for organizing this conclave here. It's a beautiful place and has given all of us the opportunity to visit this place. So thank you very much. And regarding the subject, it's true that the metro is for bigger cities. And our bigger cities also started metro very late. In fact, Delhi's first DPR or first master plan of metro was made by Rice as long back in 1972. But the actual work could start only in 1998. So almost 25 to 30 years lag was there. And that is why the situation has worsened so much. In spite of having metro, city is still crawling. And this is happening in most of the bigger cities. And I am worried that this will start happening even with smaller cities also, because we are not thinking of mass transit systems for smaller cities. For smaller cities, metro may not be a solution because we don't have that much of ridership. We need some kind of transit system which has lower capacity, but it is a green transport. Some of the alternatives on which we are working, one is Metro Neo, which Government of India has also approved, which is rubber tire based metro. Another one is PRT, Personalized Rapid Transit System, which is commonly known as Bot Taxi. We are working on this project in the city of Haridwar for about 22 kilometers on HAM model. This is nothing but driverless electric cars running on elevated track system. So that will be totally green. Then ropeways are also can be used for mass transit. In some of the world cities, these are being used, particularly for hilly states or hilly terrain. Ropeway, in my opinion, is the best solution for MRTS. Other than these, there are many other technologies which are coming in the world. One of you must have seen the video with Honorable Minister of Transport, Mr. Retd, who is having a pilot project between, I think, Andersen and Delhi. That kind of system, which is having a speed of 400 kilometers per hour, The same system can have a speed of 40, 50 or 60 or 80 kilometers just like metro. That same technology can be used for smaller cities because it can take sharp turns. It can be constructed on narrow roads also. So these are the solutions which one should adopt. And the digital technology or IT is being used in all these technologies. This PRT is totally based on IT. Now, even in metros, this digital technology or AI is helping both, not only the commuters, but also to the operators. Operators can plan what will be ridership tomorrow. Even they can predict the ridership, what will happen next month or after 1 year. So they can plan their fleets. Even the maintenance requirements can be predicted with the use of technology. And the cost of maintenance can be controlled. This is how technology can help. Thank you.
Thank you. The next, I will invite Mr. Virender Sharma. Mr. Sharma has been working in school education, and during the COVID, some of the initiatives that he has actually started off, two Squash Awards, and one of those events, one of those initiatives even ended up becoming the finalist of the Prime Minister's e-Governance Awards in 2022. So, my question to you will be straight away on that initiative, Mr. Sharma. So, can you tell us what exactly happened in December? And then what is the kind of impact you created through December? Okay. And then there was also an associated technologies initiative called the Digital Sati. So can you just give us a quick brief about how, what challenges you faced, what the initiative was, so that we also understand, we also know what you did.
Thank you, Satyajit, for this opportunity. I, like other speakers, would also extend my gratitude and congratulations to the organizing team for having organized such a wonderful event. Thank you, Fahim, for bringing all of us together here. Amit sir was right in the morning when he said this is history in the making. I have had the opportunity of traveling to this place for almost like 15 years now, because I've served in the adjacent district, or rather the end of the district of Himachal Pradesh, the district of Ladakh. So Ladakh has really transformed in the last many years, but this kind of an event here is unforeseen. So congratulations to the entire team, UT and the organizers. Now coming back to the issue. 3.5 years back, the entire world and India was paralyzed and stuck by COVID-19. And the schools were closed 21st of March, and that time I was being the head of the elementary education department and the Swarva Shiksha, which looks after the quality aspects of education. So we were staring at a problem as to how do we continue the education. The problem was grave for the students who were going for their boards, but equally grave for the students who were in their foundational classes. Why the problem was more important is that right after this COVID, I think another 3-4 months after, National Education Policy was announced. And if you look at some of the important paragraphs of National Education Policy, right in the beginning itself, it states that the most important players in the education are the students, the teachers, and the parents. That is the community. And obviously the government, which acts as a macro player. So in a short span of a month and a half, we developed a system in which the students, teacher, and the parents, they could remain connected. Messages were allowed to be sent through this app, and then, and mind you, this app was a government app made on a modular architecture, open source technology, no cost to the government. It is easily replicable. In fact, 2 or 3 states had inquired us about as to how we use the infrastructure and how technology had helped us. So within a span of a month and a half, we developed this system called 𝐃𝐢𝐠𝐢𝐭𝐚𝐥. Named 𝐃𝐢𝐠𝐢𝐿, as you know, is dialogue. So it was a process to have a dialogue between the students, teacher, and the parents. So the messages were sent to every student in the morning. The teacher had the choice because they were relatively free during COVID times. They were
bound to their homes because of the restrictions. So they had time, so they could curate the contents for the students. Curating a content is something which is actually unheard in education. When we talk of technology, there is this concept of personal adaptive learning, which is very rarely used, at least in our setup of the education. So teacher had the time to curate contents. We, over a period of time, built a repository of contents for students to use. And when we were doing this, we realized that we could also monitor the attendance of students, also inform the parents about the attendance of the students, how interested were they in education. And the most important outcome was the assessment parameters. Now, if you look at para 4.35 of the National Education Policy, it very explicitly says that the assessment has to be very friendly. The assessment has to be formative, not summative, as it presently is. At the end of the term, you take an examination, you tell the student the area where he or she is doing good or bad. But the assessment should go along with the study. So that is what we could do. And when we populated the data for the entire state, we realized that we have a database now in which we can talk, think, analyze as to what are the areas where the students in Himachal Pradesh require improvement. And that was our first insight into something like in the year 2022. Government of India conducted a test called National Achievement Survey, which unfortunately did not see the kind of results when we compared it to the last National Achievement Survey of 2017. So a lot of outcomes from that National Achievement Survey. However, so we realized that we have the data now for these students. Now we can actually think at education from this perspective as to what are the requirements of these students, keeping in view the job requirements, the industry requirements. Industry 4.0 is looking at something else. There is a famous journal called Brookings, in which this 𝐃𝐢𝐠𝐢𝐭𝐚𝐥 also figured. So there was an article in Brookings which said that the professions for which you are educating your students today, or your children today, may perhaps be out of requirement by the time they complete their education. So the technology has to ensure that when your children who are in school today, when they pass out, they get the kind of education that would really be in demand in the market. So for that you needed assessment data. For that you needed what are the areas in which students are not faring well, or the areas in which they are doing well. So we got that data, and on the basis of the data support system and analyzing that data, we could transform the entire education system into some kind of a holistic progress card, which again finds a mention in para 4.35 of the National Education Policy. And then we realized, as a step ahead, we realized that when we are on day-to-day basis marking the attendance of students on this 𝐃𝐢𝐠𝐢𝐭𝐚𝐥, why should not we go a step ahead and mark the attendance of teachers also? Interestingly, there is a report of World Bank, perhaps of the year 2010. This is on reform in civil services, which says that in the previous decade, a lot of hospitals, schools, etc. were built in the sub-Saharan Africa, but the health standard, the health parameters, and the education parameters didn't do that well. Why? Because they realized there were buildings, but there were no doctors, there were schools, but there were teachers. So we realized that it is important that when we have teachers, they come to school. So we started marking attendance. And I tell you what was the outcome? 100% of the students registered on 𝐃𝐢𝐠𝐢𝐭𝐚𝐥. 91% of the parents connected on 𝐃𝐢𝐠𝐢𝐭𝐚𝐥. They on day-to-day basis come to know about the performance of their child. 83% of the teachers coming to school every day. Ignore that, rest 73% are not coming. The fact that there are areas in Himachal which are dark regions where it is difficult to operate internet. So I'll say good about 98-99% of the teachers on daily basis coming to school. Some of them might be on leave. About 58,000 content being delivered to students on monthly basis. And the assessment data coming to us, which clearly shows this is the area where we need to work. This initiative, when we said to Government of India that this is what we have done, free of cost, no cost to the government, easily replicable, and giving us good insights into the education, and we were almost at par with the National Education Policy. The project found a mention in the finalist category of the Prime Minister National E-Governance Award. We did not get the award, but it was satisfying enough that we were in the final category. Only 15 or 17 participants across the nation in that category, and satisfaction was enough for us to work more on the education sector and think as to what the requirement of tomorrow would be and how good we can do for the students. And unless we do very well in the education sector, I personally believe that conferences, seminars, colloquiums would not have any meaning unless you have that kind of a population in the country which is truly educated to meet the need of the hour. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sharma. Very nice to hear about 𝐃𝐢𝐠𝐢𝐭𝐚𝐥. I hope the e-Samvad is still continuing.
It is continuing, but then now I think for almost last year and a half, the Government of India has made it a mandate for every state to have something called Vidya Samiksha Kendra, kind of a command and control center. So now we are shifting to that. A lot of states have developed that. So it's a more robust system. It's a very comprehensive system of education monitoring. So e-Samvad will soon give way to Vidya Samiksha Kendra.
Best of luck. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Now we come to the last speaker of the panel, Mr. Ravinder Kumar. Sir, you're handling so many portfolios in the UT today, and then some very interesting portfolios. You know, on one side you're handling Pawar, on the other side you're handling agriculture, animal husbandry, fisheries. So my question would be, what are these new initiatives that you as secretary and the person who is administering these initiatives in these departments, can we have some good examples of what kind of transformation is taking place in Ladakh? When it comes to, let's say, first let's start with Pawar, and then maybe we can go into agriculture and horti.
In Ladakh, from the creation of UT in 2019, we have multiple issues in power sector because in Ladakh, power is a lifeline due to winters and other things. So we were totally dependent upon the local two hydro units. Now we are importing power through this grid line. We have taken many initiatives in power sector, such as we are starting a smart metering project in Ladakh, which is about 20% completed. That will be going in next season. That will be completed. Then we are developing a new solar rooftop policy for the benefit of all the residential houses. Then open access rules, we are notifying the open access rules for the green energy. Then virtual net metering, that is a new concept that we can have even one is not having rooftop, but still he can do virtual net metering with the department. And also we are focusing more on RE project, like we are with the power ministry and MNI, we are developing a 13 gigawatt project at the Pang area, which will generate employment of around 5,000, including semi-skilled, skill and other jobs. So overall, we have taken many initiatives to secure the energy sector of the Ladakh and also other sectors also. And this smart metering I would discuss more because this is a technology that will reduce our losses from 46% to 20% at present. So that is an important technology. These meters will be prepaid meters, and these will be working just like the prepaid mobile. You will get to notification if your money is spent, then you can recharge as per your requirement. When you go out from your home, you can disconnect it and you can again reconnect it. So that kind of initiative we have. And also these are totally end-to-end AI based and kind of a digital based, and there is no human intervention in it, especially the lineman issue and the other issues. So this technology we are hoping that it will be done by the next August 2024, and it will change the whole energy landscape of the Ladakh.
What about agriculture? You are also a recipient of the Prime Minister's Civil Services Award for introducing innovation in digital technologies in agriculture, especially with Ladakh.
So something on that?
We in Ladakh, most of the participants also know, we are heavily dependent upon the import of vegetables, fruits, and only most of the primary sector things. Beet, milk, beet, fish, beet, poultry, and also other kind of fruits and vegetables also. So, if we want to become a carbon neutral region in the country, then we have to reduce the import from the other parts of the country, because that comes as a heavy transportation, and that generates a lot of carbon emission in the region. So we have done 2,000 greenhouse projects, and that is generating about 300 tons vegetables, fresh vegetable during the winters. Also, in poultry sector, we have established 4,000 poultry units in last 1 year. So to reduce the dependency upon the outside eggs. Similarly, we are developing entrepreneurship model for the this milk, so that will include the 25,000 families in next 5 years to meet the demand of army as well as the local and the tourist also. So we are targeting each sector so that we can reduce the import and we can reduce the carbon emission in the Ladakh.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Satyajit,
We have
I know we are completely out of time.
Yeah.
There is one important announcement adding to our Secretary Pawar related to Ladakh. We last year completed the assessment of 6 highways in this state. I would just name them so that people know where they might be coming. Leh to Alachi, Leh to Upasi, 67 and 48 kilometers. Leh to Satkana, Chucho to Leh, Leh to Spituk, Spituk to Leh, Leh to Fayang and Leh to Batasai. These highways would be electric highways very soon. These were conducted on diesel buses by setting up a couple of devices on them. Technical trial of physical electric buses are not yet done. They will also be open for the zero emission trucks. And the best part which I wanted to share from the ease of doing business point of view, that all of you are eligible to own a charging station. Despite of petrol pump is a license activity in India, owning a charging station is not, there is no license required. So me, you, anyone in this hall can have bank loan or a piece of land and can own a charging station. So a lot of investment I see coming into the state on these highways from multiple companies, and I believe all the best for this transition.
Thank you for that announcement. I think it is a very mixed kind of panel. To start with, we have Jem, we have also people from the education sector, infra, and then someone who is actually experimenting on technologies, but also I think all sectors that all of you have been working have been fantastic. And some information that you've actually shared here today is actually very inspiring as well. So thank you so much for sharing this stage with me, and I'm very happy to have been part of this panel and this distinguished group here. Thank you. I think we'll end the panel discussion now, and then we'll move on to the next program of the day.
Thank you, Satyajit. Indeed, it was a very diverse panel from IT to education to infra to GEM. So I would like to invite Mr. Sunil Gupta, sir, to come and felicitate our panelist. So we'd like to invite Commodore BK Munjal, sir, first. Ravinder Kumar, sir. Bhasker, sir. If we can come in the middle of the stage and give the memento, that would be good. Sir, मिडल में चले जाइए, मिडल में आप थोड़ा आगे चले जाओ. नरसिंह पवार सर. डॉक्टर वीरेंद्र शर्मा. जितेंद्र त्यागी सर. अभिजीत सिन्हा सर. I would request everyone to come in front for a group photograph. Sorry, last Satyajit, Mr. Satyajit.